Hey folks, the Great Red Spot is about to cross the face of Jupiter, which is streaming live from my backyard. I'll show you the telescopes that I'm using, and we'll bring them up now. This telescope right here is the one that's currently imaging Jupiter. I'm inside, and these laptops are sending the live stream to my desktop inside. This telescope is imaging the Pac-Man Nebula, and I'll show you what that looks like. And it's actually going through a focusing routine right now, but we'll stretch this a little more, zoom in a little bit, and this is the Pac-Man Nebula, several million miles, several million, 3 million light years away. So if you could travel at the speed of light, which is pretty quick, it would take you 3 million years to get there. Light can travel around the equator, the center of Earth, 7.5 times in 1 second. So if you could travel at that speed, in 3 million some odd years, you would be at the Pac-Man. Let's go back and check our moon. Our Jupiter. It's kind of hard to make it out, but when I process these images, the Great Red Spot, which is right here, and it's moving across the face, it'd be pretty easy to see. The seeing conditions are not that good at this point, and you can see how the planets jumping around and the focus isn't that sharp, and that's because we have atmospheric dispersion, which is just a lot of turbulence between the planet and my camera. Jupiter's very low on the horizon, and so you have a lot of heat that bounces off of rooftops, highways, roads. And a lot of this atmospheric interference is really thermal, heat related. Also, there's a lot of moisture, transparency issues, vapor. And it's the reason why we send our telescopes deep into space, and that's to get outside. Well, they don't really have to go any further than out of our atmosphere. The photons that are striking my camera sensor have been traveling for over 3 million years. Hey Brian, glad you're watching. Dana or Danny? Danny. My comment section is a long way away. It's kind of hard to see it from where I'm sitting. I'm also streaming this to my YouTube channel, which is Night Sky Imager, if you go searching for it. And we're back. I'll show you what the great red spot. Let's get real time, and this is the red spot that I'm referring to. And as the night goes on, I'll advance it every 10 minutes. You can see how Jupiter rotates. It makes a complete rotation once about every 10 hours. So its day lasts 10 hours, where our day lasts 24 hours. So it's a very quickly rotating planet. So is Saturn. I'm going to try to do a little focusing, and I'm also imaging at this time. Down here in this corner you can see capturing frames. I'm going to move the focuser in some. I'm not sure that helped any. We'll try raising the gain to 145. Let's that may be a little better. But right here is the great red spot in this area right here. Welcome, Randa. Glad you're watching. Welcome from New Jersey, Dia Crew. I'm simulcasting both to Facebook and to YouTube. Dire Crew, yeah, I'm also streaming on Facebook. These are the cameras, or the telescopes that I'm using. This one is imaging the Caveman Nebula. Yes, the Pac-Man. I'm sorry, Pac-Man Nebula, and this is imaging Jupiter, the Smith-Cassegrain. Hello, Carlos. Welcome. Glad you're watching. If you're not getting good quality at the bottom and the right of these videos is a gear, and you can set the resolution to 1080 HD, so you need to be watching in 1080 HD, otherwise it's blurry enough as it is, but you clearly want to be in 1080 HD. Mike Carrera, welcome. Anitha, glad you're watching. Angel, welcome. Jupiter is going to be the closest to Earth that it will be in 59 years tomorrow on the 26th. So it's very close now. And if you're in the northern hemisphere and you go outside and kind of look up about 32, 33 degrees in the southeast, actually it's more in the south now. It's about to cross the southern meridian. It'll be the brightest object in the sky. And then if you look a little higher up and to the right, it'll be a fainter looking star, but that's Saturn. Earlier tonight I was imaging Saturn before I started imaging Jupiter, and checking that out. As a matter of fact, I'll see if I can bring up Saturn video. And just grab one of these. And this was Saturn from a little earlier tonight. And I think I have about 30 movie files of Saturn, and now this is not live. This is a video that I took earlier before I started imaging Jupiter. This is live. I'm going to check my guiding. No. Let's see. Yep. This is Jupiter in my crosshairs of my guiding telescope, and the moons of Jupiter you can see here. But I'm guiding to help keep the planet fixed in the telescope's center. Hello, Kenneth. Glad you're watching. The great red spot's about right there now. I'm going to come back in with the focuser. I can control the focuser from inside. Hello, Nelson and Mateo. Glad you're watching. Hello, Angel. Hello, Luis. Well, welcome. Hello, Mike. Mike Kibbe. Glad you're watching. And Sarah, welcome. I've been streaming Jupiter for an hour and 23 minutes. Jupiter and Saturn and Mars are our favorite planets. Hey, Mike, I got you. So you found it on YouTube. Mike, I have, as you're going to probably find out, I have probably 150 videos on YouTube of live viewing of planets and deep space, nebula, galaxies, and things, if you're interested. Mike, now we've shown the whole world. Who Diacrew is. Arturo, glad you're on board watching. We are live streaming Jupiter right now, and have been for an hour and almost an hour and a half. Thank you, Mike, for being a subscriber. I do this because I just enjoy it. Tahir, welcome. Lauren, we're glad to have you. Lauren joins us from Facebook. And Joseph, welcome. I'm sure it's hard to see on YouTube because it's not easy to see. If I didn't know exactly where it's supposed to be, then I probably wouldn't find it myself. But this is the great red spot right here, and it's clearly going to image pretty well. So I agree, Lauren, it's a pretty planet. I was showing earlier tonight, I was imaging Saturn, and here's a couple views of Saturn from earlier tonight before I went over to Jupiter. And it's also one of the, I think Saturn's probably everyone's favorite planet. And it's because it's surrounded by these rings of Saturn. This giant red spot is a storm. Let me click on real time, and that's where it is. It's a massive storm that's been going on for hundreds of years, and you could probably fit several 100,000 Earths inside this storm. It's so huge. Our Earth-sized planets would fit in here. This is a big ball. Oh, scene has gotten a little worse. It's not as sharp. Let me rack the focuser out some. Yeah, the scene conditions aren't great, and the planet's moving around a little more than I like. Hey, Kevin. Welcome. If you're not watching in 1080, make sure that you set your resolution to 1080. You can find that in the bottom right hand corner if you're watching on YouTube. I'm not sure if you can do it with Facebook. I think in Facebook you just get what you get, and it does a compression job that and I understand why they do compress the video, but it does mess with the quality. Hello, Susan McLeod. Glad you're watching. Hope you enjoy. Alan Hernandez has also just joined us. You're watching a live view of Jupiter from my backyard. It's kind of hard to imagine that my camera can capture those photons that have been traveling through space from an object that's being lit up by our sun. That's where Jupiter gets its illumination. Our sun is lighting it up, as it does Saturn and all the other planets. All the other planets rotate around our star. Alan Gonzalez has joined us. I think the red spot might be showing up a little better. I brought up another screen and I'm watching it like you're watching it. It's a big screen, but it's showing the red spot. Each of these movies has 8,000 frames. Those are individual pictures And a movie is just a series of frames taken so many per second, and I'm capturing about 25, 27 frames per second. And I'll use software to stack all of those 8,000 frames into one image. And so the detail is brought out then. And I probably won't keep but maybe 10%. Hello, Kelly McLeod, glad you're watching. I'll keep about 20% of the 8,000 or 1,600 frames, and I'll just keep the very best that are coming in because of scene conditions. Not all of them are as sharp as the others. So I'll stack anywhere between 1,500 and 2,000 of those into one image. And it gets more complicated than that, because since Jupiter rotates very quickly, its day lasts 10 hours. And so this red spot's rotating across the face. And so I have to also use software that derotates the images and stacks them. So not only do I stack each video, but I'm taking like 8 to 10 videos, and I'll stack each of those together after those separate images have been stacked to come up with a high resolution Jupiter. It's a fun hobby. I agree with you, Kelly. It is super cool. Welcome, Ella. Glad you're watching. Like your dog, Kelly. We just found out this past weekend that our Cavachon, which is a cross between a Bichon and a Cavalier Spaniel, has cancer. So we have two little fur babies. We have a Cavachon and we have a toy poodle, and they're both about the same age. Annie is 13 and Charlie is 10. You're welcome, Kelly. We love our fur babies. Charlie's right behind me. I changed his name to Astro Dog at night. Yeah, Mike, we rescued both the dogs, and Annie's just such a sweetheart. Our vet didn't give us a good prognosis, and she's got a tumor in her belly, and it's just it's growing very quickly. We won't let her get in any pain. As soon as we think she's under distress, we'll have to put her down. But right now, she seems to be doing really good, eating. All her parts work, and she's dishing out a lot of love. Thank you, Kelly. We're gonna miss her. It's one of the responsibilities when you take on a fur baby that you'll address one day. Hello, Brian. Glad to have you on board watching. Byron, I'm sorry. Yeah, the great red spot is moving around. Soko, welcome. Thank you, Mike. If you're wondering what this is over here, it's the hand controller. It's a virtual hand controller for the mount. I can move it in right ascension, and I can move it in declination, up and down and left and right. It's an equatorial mount, and this tells me where in the sky it's pointing. And it's tracking Jupiter because our Earth rotates once every 24 hours and a few minutes. And if we didn't track in sidereal time, Jupiter would move off my screen very quickly. So the mount is moving with the Earth. It's kind of driven by its own clock in sidereal time so that it can keep Jupiter centered while we enjoy it. For Morales, glad you're watching. If you just joined, I'll show you what telescopes are doing the work. Let's connect. This is the Stellar View. It's a refractor Stellar View 70T, and this is the Smith-Cassegrain. This larger telescope is on Jupiter, and it's the one that's sending a streaming signal to my computer inside my home, which is, this goes upstairs. You can't see that part, and then the front of the house is where I am. And both of these are imaging right now. This one's on Jupiter, and I'll show you what I'm imaging with that telescope. And here's the other telescope. This is the Pac-Man Nebula. I'll stretch it a little more and be able to see it a little better. Let's stretch it even more. That's too much. And let me go back and click back to some hydrogen alpha, and you'll see it better. I'm moving through some, there we go. This is taken in hydrogen alpha, and it's a little easier to see it. I'll fit it to the screen, and that is coming in right now, one picture after another. I'm imaging. These are filters that I use to filter the light, and I filtered just red. My cameras are mono, they take black and white images. And although I have some color astronomical cameras, most of mine are mono. And so I put a red filter in front of it, and I take red and I put a green filter and green, and that's done automatically. There's a filter wheel attached to the telescope that does that. And I was taking 8-second exposures for the stars. You don't really need to take a long exposure, and I took 20 each, so they're out of the way. And then I went to take hydrogen alpha, and the gases in a nebula are mostly hydrogen, oxygen, and sulfur. So I have filters that filter just that light. And these are 4-minute long exposures, 240 seconds, and I'll take 25 of those. So I have 2 hours and 42 minutes left to image this, and then I'll take another 6 hours of it tomorrow night, another 6 hours of it the next night. Now, it'll take about 15 hours in all of total exposure time to come up with a good image. And so that's what that telescope is doing. So let's head back now to our planet and enjoy it. I'm going to hush for a while and just watch it. I have to say though, the great red spot's really showing off now. Y'all should be able to see it. Next Saturday night, October the 1st, is International Observe the Moon Night. And I'm going to be imaging the moon with 2 telescopes. I'll be going back and forth. And the NASA will be streaming. I'll be streaming through NASA's website. So if you can watch it on Facebook, you can watch it on my YouTube channel, and you can go to NASA's website in the International Observe the Moon. I guess they'll have what do they call special events? They have a category special events, and if you click on that, we can put that to bed, so it'll stop bothering me. And clicking too many buttons, but I'll put a link to the NASA channel website where Observe the Moon Night's going to be. I'm not going to be the only one that's going to have their video streamed. There's going to be other I think there was about 10 of us on the call from around the world that are going to be streaming it. So when I did the solar eclipse, there were multiple other people around that were doing the same thing. A lunar eclipse, there are multiple people doing the same thing, and I'll be doing the solar eclipse through their website on what's next year. We won't have totality. We'll have pretty close to 70% of an eclipse, but we're not in a position for totality, and probably not traveling. Not with these gears. My gear's permanent. They stay on piers that are cemented into concrete platform in my backyard, and I have covers that go over them. They stay out year-round. I bring them in a couple weeks during the summer when we have a rainy season, and take them apart and clean them, re-grease them. Kind of tune them up. Diego, welcome. Glad you're watching. Diego. Yeah, I'm hoping you can see the great red spot. That massive storm is making its way. It's just hard to focus it when there's seeing conditions aren't at their very best. I'm over here playing around with it. And also focusing changes as the temperature drops. Yeah, I'm going the wrong way. Let's go back this way. I was racking the focuser out. We're going to rack it back in some. Yeah, it's looking a little better now. Not a lot, but a little better. Garcia, welcome. Glad you're watching. You're seeing a live streaming view of our moon. Our planet Jupiter. I got the moon on my mind because of the National Observe the Moon Day coming up. And also I'm not sure it's going to happen because I have been following this latest hurricane news, and it looks like it's going to come up the Gulf and cut across South Carolina at some point. If it does that, it's going to be this weekend. So I may be observing the rain and the wind. Oh, look how bad scene just got. The planets bouncing all over everywhere. It's kind of one of those situations where on a real hot day, hot humid day, and if you look down a highway, you can see the heat coming off of it, and it's just kind of wavy, ripply. Well, that's the kind of atmosphere we're imaging through. A lot of thermo instability. Welcome, Alan. Glad you're watching. Enjoy. This is a live view of Jupiter. I've been streaming now for how long? I'm looking at it. An hour and 50 minutes. Welcome, Gina. Glad you're watching. If you're on my Facebook page, last week finished working on the Pac-Man Nebula, and I put that on Facebook. I took that with the refractor that's outside right now that I was showing you guys a few minutes ago. That's 17 hours of imaging time over a 3-day period. And I took RGB stars. I shoot the RGB for the stars. And the longer exposures were hydrogen alpha and oxygen. I didn't need any sulfur for that. Hydrogen will burn and deliver a red color, and oxygen a blue color. All of the elements in the periodic table burn at their own color level. I don't know if you look at all the light coming through a prism, you could identify what elements from a star are emanating just by the colors. That's spectrometry. No, we won't be going to Jupiter. Jupiter's a gas giant. It's a gas. You won't be walking around on it. It's not a hard surface planet, nor is Saturn. Mars is. The moons of Jupiter are Adriana. I love that name. Glad you're watching. Maybe one of my favorite names of all time, Adriana. On the right over here, besides my virtual hand controller, which I can move around pretty much anywhere, is the controls for my exposure time. I'm exposing at 36.7 milliseconds, and the gain I've set to 145. The higher the gain, you can drop your exposure and capture more frames per second, but there's a trade-off. If you run the gain up too high, you get grain, kind of a grainy look to it. And we're not in turbo speed. And down here is a histogram that I try to, when I image the planets, I'm interested only in coming to just slightly left of center in my colors. By the way, this is a one-shot color camera. Planetary cameras I'll use sometimes are going to be one-shot color. Astronomical planetary cameras, and I have some that are also mono. If you take a mono camera that shoots black and white and put a red filter in front of it, take a picture, and you do the same thing with the green filter and a red filter, and you put those three pictures on top of each other, they'll be color. And a mono camera, the whole sensor is recording photons. If you use a color camera, then each receptor in the sensor is broken into 4 parts: 2 green, 1 red, and 1 blue. So if you're getting red photons, only 1/4 of the sensor can record them. And that's why one-shot color or color cameras aren't as efficient in deep space imaging. Or planetary imaging, it's okay. You are going to take so many frames, you're going to stack so much that you really don't have to be that concerned about it. But that's not the case in deep space imaging. And I do a lot of solar imaging. If you're on my YouTube channel, you'll see where I image the sun a lot, particularly if there's spots and flares coming off of the rim. I like to make these time-lapse movies. The red spot is coming around, guys. I think everybody ought to be able to at least identify the shadow if you set your screen to high resolution. I'm going to run another sequence. It's 12:30 and I'm going to run one to about 1:15. And 7,000 frames. I only want 5 images this time, and there'll be a 10-second interval between them. So let's go. And I'm going to head over to, let's head over to this other telescope and see how the oxygen is doing. It's coming in. Welcome, Ricardo. Glad you're watching. We're imaging the Pac-Man Nebula tonight, and we're also imaging Jupiter. And there's Jupiter. We have 2 different telescopes set up, and we're welcome, Isaac. Glad you're watching. We're live streaming the planet Jupiter, and with another telescope we're imaging the Pac-Man Nebula. I believe that's NGC 295. Let me go over and check. I'm not sure. I think it's NGC 295. Let's bring it up. No, it's NGC 281. That's the catalog name for it, if you look it up. And we're back to Jupiter. Yep, this is the great red spot that we're looking at. Welcome, Louise. Glad you're watching. We're live streaming Jupiter with this telescope, and with another we're taking deep space images of the Pac-Man Nebula. So this is another controller for the hand controller. I don't have to use this. I could use this as well to nudge it in right ascension and declination. And this controls my focuser. I can, from inside, I can control the in and out racking of the focuser to try to affect the focus in a positive way. It's kind of hard to focus when scene's not good, and right now the scene has gotten a little better, and the red spot's a little more defined, and you can see it's red. You could put probably 1,000 Earths inside this thing. That's how big that storm is, and it's a hurricane. It's a gaseous hurricane. It's out of control. Bigger and a lot of Earths. But you are watching a live view, life-size view of our planet. Hello, Hoover. Glad you're watching. we'll look at the Great Red Spot. I think, let me see if this is Wingy Post. Evelyn, welcome. Yeah. This is software that I use to de-rotate images, but I'll click on real time, and this is a real-time depiction of Jupiter, and I use this to plan imaging sessions. And I'm on Eastern Standard Time, and this is Universal Time, so we're minus 4 hours. So it's 12:34 in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And right now, this is the Great Red Spot, and this is, as the next 10 minutes, I'm clicking 10 minutes at a time, and you can see it's going to rotate by, let's see, it'd be 7, so by 3 o'clock it will have left, and will be. Also, the moons come around, and it's always fun to catch. Here's one of the moons coming, and it's always fun to catch the moons when they go in front of Jupiter. And here one will be coming around, and when they come around in front of them, they cast a shadow. And so what's nice is to be able to plan, and I'll plan ahead. If the nights are good to me and the clouds are clear, I'll look for a night where I have a moon that's over Jupiter, and the sun will be throwing a shadow on the surface, so you'll see the moon and its shadow and the Great Red Spot. Those are the big wind imaging nights. Then you have to have clear skies in order to pull that off. So let's go back and let's find Jupiter. Here we go, and there's the Great Red Spot. A live view of it. Pretty pretty. Curtis, glad you're watching. You're looking at a live stream of our planet, Jupiter. Tell you what, let's go find out. We'll click on this planetarium software, Sky Safari, and Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system that we know. I don't need the mythology. Takes 11.86 years to complete one orbit around the sun. It's 89,000 miles in diameter. We're 12,000 miles in diameter. Here's the Great Red Spot. Cyclone. It's 300 years old. The Great Red Spot. Galileo chronicled his view of Jupiter, and of course we know NASA's Juno spacecraft went around it. Here's the Great Red Spot, close from Voyager. The winds are 200 miles an hour at the Great Red Spot. And here are the gases. Those are the moons of Jupiter. Has 67 moons. Most of them are very small. Wouldn't it be cool if we had a few more moons to look at? Okay, enough of that. We'll head back to see Jupiter live and magnificent planet. Welcome, Emmanuel. Glad you're watching. May have to work on some focus. Let's go out some. It says your stream was interrupted. I don't know what it's copyright. I have So we may have lost everybody because it says my stream was interrupted because of let me see if I'm still, hang on a minute. Well, I'll knock off the music if they think the music that I own. Silence. Yeah, the great red spots. Clearly a piece of work. I have 2 more remaining. $7,000 frame images. And then I will probably call it a night before it becomes a day. Yeah, Carlos, it is special. I totally agree. Bogota, Colombia. In the internet, amazing. That it can bring so many people together. and we're not arguing or fighting. We're just enjoying up. Again, don't forget this coming Monday is International Observe the Moon Day and Night, and NASA, if you go to their website, and also the Astronomical Society of the Pacific, in conjunction with NASA, uh, there'll be star parties held in communities all over the country, and they'll be promoting um, appreciation, really, for our moon, our night light, and they'll have telescopes set up. Our astronomy club, the Roper Mountain Astronomers, will have telescopes set up, and we will probably have the big Clark telescope set up at the Roper Mountain Science Center. It will be beamed on the moon, but I'm going to have it on my two telescopes that I'll have in the backyard. I may set up a third telescope and go back and forth with different um, refractors, and I'll be streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. It's also going to go through, my stream's going to be picked up by NASA on the NASA website. They have a category, and I think it's called special events, where they have things like this, and things like the eclipses, and big events, solar and lunar eclipses. We have 2 solar eclipses coming up in our hemisphere in the next couple of years. A lot of neat things to look forward to. If you've never been in a solar eclipse where there's totality, where day becomes night in just a matter of seconds, it's really an experience. Hey Jorge, how you doing? Susan, glad you're liking it. Oh, another doggy. Susan and Kelly's doggies are a little bit alike. That's awesome. Jorge, where are you from? That looks kind of like Aztec uh, architecture behind you guys. Welcome. You're watching a live stream of our planet Jupiter from my backyard. And I'm not only taking images of Jupiter tonight, I'm also imaging the Pac-Man Nebula, which is right here. And we'll show you what that looks like. Stretch it a little bit. And here's the nebula. We can zoom in a little bit. And there it be. And surrounding stars. Hundreds of millions of stars. This is such a small swath of the sky. And there's just millions of stars inside of this thing. It's crazy. And each of the stars, kind of like our sun, has planets. Amazing. And we're back to a live view of our planet Jupiter. And we are watching the great red spot as it crosses the face of Jupiter. From Mexico. Welcome from Mexico, Jorge. Did you guys get beat up from the hurricane too bad? We've got another one headed our way, as I understand it. Oh, no, I mean the earthquake. The earthquake. Because you had two back-to-back 6 point something on the Richter scale, two of those in the last 10 days. Okay, folks, I have completely imaged out, and I'm going to sign off for right now and go over to the YouTube channel and look up the Night Sky Imager YouTube channel, and you'll see a lot of streaming episodes that I've done of planets and deep space. And I do a lot of tutorial type things on how to process these images. Probably won't interest you, but the live streaming things might interest you. Different galaxies, Andromeda, trying to think of Orion, parts of the sky that you hear about more than some more than others. And but at any rate, Jorge, again, I hope you guys are safe down in Mexico and didn't get caught in the two earthquakes that you guys had. And with that being said, I think we're going to end up bidding everybody a good night, and hope you guys have a great week. We got a big one ahead of us, and I hope the hurricane doesn't come your way, nor my way.